Did you know that flexibility is one of the key elements to successful aging strategies? So it is one of the most important things as we age to be flexible. So today we're going to be doing some flexibility exercises together. I hope you'll join me. You're going to start off with your legs nice and wide apart, toes facing forward. You're going to do some side-to-side stretches and then add a little twist by touching your opposite toe. Start slow and then continue and twist a little further as you get warmed up. This stretches your inner thighs, and then hold to one side, raise your opposite arm. This enables you some back stretching as well. Now you're going to take your legs a little further apart and walk your hands towards your legs. Don't worry if you can't do this, just try and get as close as possible. Next, we're going to get into a lunge position. Taking it from your lunge with your knee down, toe down on the back. And now you're going to come to an upward lunge and a hamstring stretch. Hamstrings are very important to have flexible. Now, I'm very tight because I do a lot of indoor cycling, a lot of weight training, and a lot of walking. So hamstrings and hips are so important to open so that you do not get injured. And just keep that going. And then lean forward into that hip flexor stretch, tuck the toes, and then we're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Just adjust to where you're comfortable, slowly moving forward and back. Now I've got my toes tucked in the back. My feet tend to cramp when I untuck them. It's a good idea to also practice your pointing. There we go. And continue back and forth. Notice how as you go, you'll be able to go a little bit deeper. And then come on up. And really focus on that hip opening. Do this only if you can. It's not absolutely necessary. You will get there as you practice. Now heel toe yourself back in and bring yourself up. Now we're going to do some knee rotations. Your knee rotations, you're going to rotate to one side and then rotate to the other side. That's good for your knees. A little bit of mobility in those knees. The knees like to go in those different directions, and there's nothing wrong with it. Now taking your knees down towards the floor. This also takes your hip flexors into a range of motion that you're not necessarily used to. So go easy here. And as always, if something hurts, don't do it. Just going back and forth, back and forth. Now taking your toes out, nice and wide stance. And you're going to reach over to one side, stretching through the lats, through the waist. This will get into your lower back. Keep it going. Nice and deep stretches through the sides. Wonderful. Now we're going to get into the calves. Calves Stretching them out in a down dog, taking the knees down to a 90-degree angle. You'll be stretching those hamstrings, stretching those calves, stretching through the back. And keep repeating. Now you're going to sit back on your heels. And they're in a pointed position. So now you'll be stretching your quadriceps and your tibialis anterior. That's the front of your legs from your knees to your toes. You're going to come forward, stretching the lower back, upper back, and then stretching those quads. Now we all have a different range of motion. I'm very tight, so I can't get back very far, but as I go, I'm going to try and get a little bit deeper. You'll notice I'm also using my neck muscles. I'm opening up, looking at the ceiling, closing, opening. Now I'm going to take my arms back and really give it a good stretch. Now, with my hands facing forward towards my toes, I'm also stretching through the shoulder blades. And it's a lovely stretch. So now, we're going to get on the floor. We're going to take our legs apart and we're going to do hip openers. So you're windshield wipering your knees towards the floor, following through on your heels and taking your knees down towards the floor. They should be in a straight line from your hips when you're looking down that leg towards your knee. Now we're going to take it to the floor. Take our legs straight up in the air and stretch the hamstrings. Flex and point those feet. Reach behind wherever you can reach. I'm reaching my calves. Now I'm going to take my legs apart a little bit and I'm going to rotate my feet in one direction and rotate my feet in the other direction. Getting that ankle mobility in. Now straightening and bending. And I'm going to take my legs into what I call a whale tail. Now this is my very, very, very tight area of my body. This stretches your ITB bands. You're going to reach towards the outside. This side is a little bit more difficult for me, as you can see. It's something that I should probably stretch more often. Trying to straighten your legs as much as you can in this move. And now we're going to go for a hip opener, pushing your leg open to the side. And the other side, of course, as well. Just relax into that move. We're going to take our legs apart and from a lying down motion, do the same windshield wipers, opening up the hips from side to side. And keep that going. It's so good for your hips to be doing this. It's also going to give you a little bit of a back twist. And now we'll go into a glute stretch. Flex your foot whenever you bring your leg up like that. The leg that's above the knee needs to be flexed, just to keep your knee safe. It's a very important thing to do. And your goal is to be able to pull that leg towards you, keeping your back flat on the floor, not allowing your body to fall to the side. And you're going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Now we're going into a full twist. Your opposite knee to hand. Hand is out, you're getting a chest stretch and you're getting a lower back stretch. You're going to do both sides. Holding it for a little bit. Your goal is to have that opposite shoulder on the ground and the palm to the ceiling. And you're going to hold that as well. And just breathe into it. Relax. Now we're going to get into both legs coming over to the side. And we're going to go back and forth. And repeat. It's very good for your back to be doing this. Go very slow, and if it hurts, just repeat holding it for a little bit on each side rather than going back and forth. It does work the core when you're doing it this way. Taking your feet really close to your butt and bringing your hips up, squeezing your bum, you'll feel a nice little stretch, not only in your quadriceps, but also in your neck. I'm just going to hold that for a little bit. Come on down. Another hamstring stretch. Opposite side. And now we're going to go to our quads. So you're going to lie down however you're comfortable on your side. You're going to take your leg, pull it back, grab your leg wherever you can. I usually put it just above my foot, close to my ankle. I'm going to flex my foot and push into my hand, which will give me a deeper stretch. And then I'm going to turn over to the other side and do the same thing. And you can see how I'm going to flex that foot to get a deeper stretch and push my hip forward. And you can get a much deeper stretch into your quadricep. Releasing those legs. We're going to now do the quadricep with the bottom leg you're going to grab. It gets the quadricep in a slightly different way. If it's too hard for you to do it this way, then grab your top leg. And we're going to do the other side. Repeating the same thing on the other side. Perfect. Getting those leg stretches in is super, super important, especially if you do a lot of legs. If you don't stretch, then eventually your body will stop you from what you're doing with an injury or tightness or stiffness. So now we're going to get onto all fours. And we're going to do some cat-cows. So really arching. Upper back, lower back, upper back, lower back. Hold and hold. And And going into a child's pose stretch. Legs are wide enough apart so that your stomach can fit between your thighs. And then you're going to crawl your fingers over to one side of the mat, stretching out the lats. And then you're going to crawl your fingers, tiptoe them over to the other side, and stretch out the other side. It feels so good just to be able to do that. Coming back to center. We're now going to lie flat on our stomach. Take our elbows right under the shoulders. And push your pelvis into the floor for this one. This is a very, very hard stretch for your neck. And again, if it hurts, don't do it, but it does provide some traction. So what you're going to do is very, very slowly drop your head and allow it to just hang. And like I said, push your pelvis into the floor to keep the lower back safe. And you just let that head hang, and it will pull all your neck muscles. It will really help with the traction through the spine. If it hurts, don't do it. It's one of my favorite stretches. And I hold it for quite a bit here. So like I said, if you can't hold that, then slowly, slowly bring it up. Back upright, tuck the toes, come back up. Pull up your pants, haha. And taking one arm through and reaching up to the other side. And you're going to do some repeaters of elbow towards your opposite wrist. It's a thoracic spine opener. Your hips are right over your knees, hands are under your shoulders, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. I think I finish up here by tucking that arm through. There we go. And reach underneath and hold it, stretching your between the shoulder blades. This will be a really nice stretch also for your neck. Number one rule of thumb, though, is if it hurts, don't do it. Just do what you can. Go to your own personal range of motion. And holding. And don't forget to breathe. Wonderful. We'll go one more time. And bringing it up, tucking those toes. Stretching it out. And now we're going to come into our deep squat. Taking your feet apart. This is a fantastic hamstring stretch. Trying to keep your back as flat as you can. You're going to put your hands together and try to push your knees out. Remember to try and keep that back flat. Do not try to round out your lower back. Now I'm going to take my knees and pull them in. Only do it if you're able to. And now we're going to go for another nice little hamstring stretch, a forward fold. Slowly come on up. You're going to take your arm across the front. And now you're going to bend the side that you're leaning towards. And yes, it may feel very odd on the knees, but you only want to go as far as feels comfortable to you. The knees are able to go that way, and it's okay to use that little bit of mobility there if you can. A nice flat back. And we're going to tiptoe the heels, toes, heels, toes. Now we're going to tuck those toes under, and we're going to sit on our heels with the toes tucked. Nice tall stature, and just continue to hold that. It may feel funny on your feet, but it's healthy for your feet to have that flexion in there. Roll those shoulders back. Roll the shoulders forward. Keep sitting on the feet. Nice big shoulder rolls. Tuck your chin. Look up. Stretching the muscles in your neck. Now tuck your toes so that you're pointing. Grab your left hand and pull it towards your right butt cheek. And then take your neck towards the right. Hold. And now you're going to take your right arm and pull it towards your left butt cheek and tilt your head towards your left. So we're going to do that again. So that you can see it done properly. This is a great stretch for your neck. Reset, and the other side. Little tricep stretch. Taking your left arm down the middle of your shoulder blade, out, and other side, tricep stretch. Still sitting on your feet, toes are tucked, and now you're going to roll your shoulder till your palm faces the ceiling. Roll the shoulder forwards the entire way. And now roll your wrists. Full rotations. There you go. Keep rolling those wrists one direction and then the other direction. Stretching your hands. Be careful when you point the hand down and stretch this way. And a nice chest stretch. Notice you're still kneeling on your toes. Now you're going to round out the spine. You're in a child's pose. Your palms are to the floor. Just relaxing. And slowly coming up. And I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much.